evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Conversations with Kenny. Kenny, joining me in the studio today is my brother, Tom.
What's that?
It's his birthday tomorrow. Today's my birthday. We're doing a birthday episode here. And joining us on the show via Zoom call is my dad.
He's the one that made us.
He's the one that made us. We are here to talk a little bit about Star Wars today, get into a discussion, maybe talk about Boba Fett. I kind of want to talk about the Book of Boba Fett. Both you guys have seen it. I've seen it. Mandalorian. There's going to be some spoilers in here. If you're not caught up.
Alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Conversations with spoils.
Yeah.
So.
And also, I kind of want to talk about the Kenobi, highly anticipated Kenobi series.
There's a lot of highly anticipated series coming out. You know, there's like 4 or 5 different shows coming out.
No, actually, I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
and they're all like gonna be coming out soon, like within the next 2 years, I think.
Like Star Wars shows.
Yeah, like I don't know for sure. Like people have been saying it, but
yeah.
Like, it's entirely possible another show is going to come out in like May. They're going to drop it on Star Wars Day. That's what I've heard hype about. But I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's not just like, and then next year we have another show. No, they're doing a lot of Star Wars shows like Ahsoka, and you know, that's one of the things that's coming out. And what's that dude from what was that one Star Wars one, the last one before A New Hope? You know what I'm talking about. They were getting the Death Star plans.
Oh, Rogue One. Yeah.
The guy from Rogue One. They're doing a show that's about the guy from Rogue One and his world, and that's in the works. And they're going to use that. And then there's another season of Mandalorian, and then there's going to be one that's about like a whole bunch of Clone War people. I don't know. It's just there's actually 5 of them, and they said, and these are all coming out by 2023. Oh, so it's like, so you mean to tell me that not just the Obi-Wan show is coming out? It's not. They could say, oh yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi's coming out in December.
Right.
They could just drop it in the summer, you know, and then in December,
they have
Mandalorian.
They haven't given even a release date.
Yeah, but he's been. Right. They can just do whatever they want, but you know.
So, Dad, you've seen the Book of Boba Fett. You're caught up on the Book of Boba Fett, right? You're caught up on the Mandalorian shows. Nice. What did you, what did you think about them tying in Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett together?
Interesting. Give a lot of. I do give a little bit of credit there. The one thing I just wanted to kind of touch on was the fact that, and we're all excited about all this, but I mean, I was there from the beginning. I saw it when it was in a movie theater, Star Wars and that, and everything is not new. And that's kind of what I have a problem with the Book of Boba Fett. There's nothing new there. I do like Mandalorian a lot because it's actually expanding the universe of Star Wars. I mean, nobody saw, Grogu coming. I mean, there was no one ever thought about, hey, I mean, we don't even know I don't even know if there's a name for the origin of where Yoda came from.
I don't think there is.
So there's a lot of that they can go, a lot of direction. Like I said, my problem with the Book of Boba Fett is it is absolutely dry.
What was it? I think it was the second episode where he was doing something in the Dune Sea, and he's like, "We need to do that." They were talking. It just reminded me of Dune. It's like they were almost aware that there was a lot of stuff going on with the desert, and it's like an homage to Dune.
Oh, here's the thing. What came up? Does anyone know what the temperature is on that planet?
Oh no, yeah, actually, that's a good point. I don't.
How do those droids keep going around?
They're dressed up in wool clothes. All, and everything. So I mean, I always thought that was like scorching heat and stuff like that. And the more I thought about it, is like life is just below the surface, because there's nothing else. It's camouflage. And I mean, that's where the origins of coffee came from. If you look at those little urchin things now, and it was kind of yeah, but they're like, when he gave it to the one assassin, where it's like you'll learn to like it and you'll actually crave it after a while.
Yeah. Oh,
and when
it opens up, like, I never got that. I never got that was like a coffee type of thing. I was thinking it was just a water.
Yeah, I thought it's water, but no, I think it's actually a caffeinated drink.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, that makes sense. They're digging for coffee beans.
He opens it up at night and it actually steams like a cup of coffee. He's drinking around. So, I mean, those are some of the things, and that's what I think was cool about the Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. First of all, they answered the question of how do you go to the bathroom on a spaceship? I mean, so that question was, kind of looked at. How they eat.
When did
Everybody's eating now. They're barbecuing animals. I don't know if they're sentient or not. That was another question I had.
when he's like, let's go get some food?
Oh, in the Mandalorian, one of the first scenes is there's an animal on a spit.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, so they're showing that by here in episode, in the last episode of the Book of Boba Fett, where they're in a butcher shop or they're in a market now, and I'm like, and they're trying to instill that everybody has knives, and things like that. So it was kind of different, but so they're really kind of touching in on some of the normalcies of life, which none of the movies ever did.
Right. Kind of.
They have time and space to do that now with a TV show. Like the other day, you were like, that episode wasn't so great. And I was like, I know, it was bad. And remember the one where he was flying, they were chasing the guy through the streets and the bikes. It's like, this is bad animation, but it's okay. It's still funny.
See,
and then
I saw that and I thought that they might have done that on purpose, like made it kind of a goofy, chase through Mos Eisley. And, like you said, the animation was just
it was this close to being Scooby-Doo. Okay,
I thought it was more like Power Rangers. Those guys.
I'm like, that's the only color in the whole thing were motorcycle things. That's the most colorful aspect of it. I mean, it's not even that colorful in the bar.
Well, it was a filler episode, and I think that they're, as a TV show, they're allowed to do that just to kind of get an idea. It's like, here's some more stuff, and they can throw jokes in there. It doesn't always have to be, the best episode ever.
Too much money.
Kind of going back to what you said though about Boba Fett not introducing too much new stuff. There was that 6-legged monster that like popped out of the sand.
Oh yeah,
and he was battling Boba Fett, which I was like, what the heck is that thing?
That thing looked like Clash of the Titans. That was a Clash of the Titans thing.
So here's the thing, and a lot of and I saw kind of a write up of, geez, what if Star Wars had a kaiju movie? Okay, kaiju meaning very large animal. And they went through all the kaiju possibilities on Star Wars, and I didn't realize how many. If you look at the Han Solo one, there was a alien monster the size of a planet. And if you look at where they were in the asteroid and they flew down some, there's a lot of kaijus in Star Wars, and they just take up these little little background blips. We're Mando, he's on the planet with the spiders. I mean, that was freaky.
Yep.
Okay, all those little baby spiders and then there's Mama Spider. Okay, comes out and take it down. So I mean, there's a lot of kaiju moments that are just little fillers, and there again, that's 6-legged.
Right.
I don't know what.
I looked it up. There's actually not a name for that species of an alien.
They just made a new character.
They just basically made a new alien character.
They can do
that pays tribute to Clash of the Titans, the original one.
Yeah, the way that he was standing there, it looked like stop motion, and he was like,
So do you think that, like with these shows, you just said your keyword tribute there, do you think they do that on purpose? For example, like the spice and stuff, is that any relation to Dune?
Such a rip. The spice to me was an absolute rip. If you go back to, and I mean, we're going to get off topic here real quick, or maybe the foundation of Star Wars, the foundation of science fiction, goes back to Isaac Asimov. And from that, the consciousness of how to expand the universe really took a hold, from robots and just this galactic empire. And they I think when they used spice, I thought that was an absolute rip on Dune.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say rip, but I definitely would say an homage to it, because Star Wars is for everyone. They try and pay a little bit to everyone, and it's like, you said with the spice, I think it was
it's a cool word. You can't come up with a better word.
but the concept of it, what's going on? It's like, so is Dune part of Star Wars?
No, I don't know. Absolutely not.
Well, Earth is part of Foundation.
Not, because Star Wars still exists in a place where they use buttons and switches.
A long time
for controls. Right. There's no expansion of technology. so they have their limitations
Oh,
there.
they got some cool technology. They got some cool technology in Star Wars. What was going on in the last?
I did want to touch on one thing though.
Yeah.
Where's the story? And here I'm going to lay this out. I think Grogu is the key.
He's probably Yoda.
Here's why: because in the last episode of Mandalorian, and there's Luke Skywalker here, save the day, right? I'm like, everybody's gonna die.
Right.
All of the kids die again. I'm like, don't go with Tim. You're gonna die. So now I think they set up that Mandalorian is gonna go see him, save him. All right. And he's gonna, I bet you Grogu goes back with him so that he is not a part of that school being decimated by, I don't know if it was.
No, it only makes sense that that's what happens, because you can't have Grogu die in the thing. And I don't think it's going to happen this next episode. You know, he's like, I got to pay a visit to a friend because he's going to see Luke. Luke doesn't even have a beard yet. Remember?
No, he doesn't. Luke's not his friend.
But
Grogu, he's got a present for Grogu.
He's going to visit Grogu, who's with Luke, but Luke he's not even at that point yet with his thing. He might take him, he might talk to him, but whatever that can happen later though. You know, it's not going to happen.
Here's the other part of it. Go ahead, Kim.
No, I was just saying it's going to be interesting to see kind of how they tie it all together. You know,
but see, the Mandalorian's got all these mysteries. The armorer talking about the Mythosaurus and the legend of Mandalorian.
right?
And that the actual dark saber was created by a Jedi.
Yep, he was a
A
Jedi.
Mandalorian Jedi.
It was, or is a Mandalorian Jedi. Now, who better would be fit for a Mandalorian Jedi than Grogu?
Yeah. You know what else I think is cool is the idea of the dark saber being so heavy. And because that was something George Lucas talked about. He's like, I imagine lightsabers being really heavy. And that's why in Return of the Jedi, it was kind of a slow thing. But then he changed it up in the first one. He's like, no, it's all fast lightsabers. Everyone was cool with that. But still, the idea of the dark saber still being a heavy force that he's trying to fight against.
Well, it's all on how much he didn't they say like you have to believe in yourself for it to flow easier or something like that?
Force. Like you're literally using the force, and that's what defines the idea of a lightsaber.
So it's like a force trainer lightsaber to train you in the ways of the force. I'm not familiar with the history of the dark saber too much.
It kind of gives a gravity to the history of everything, because it's like, oh, what's a lightsaber? You know, Rey picks up the blue lightsaber. Cool. Yeah, anyone can pick up lightsabers and use them. But then, dark saber. The dark saber is so, whatever's in there, whatever crystal or whatever, because there's only one.
I don't know. And there again, I think the dark crystal or that dark saber being a key point here. That he won it legitimately.
Yep.
But I thought it was funny that he hurt himself with it.
Oh yeah, because
and no other time has anybody hurt themselves with a lightsaber. Yeah. Not even like, hey, wow. He actually almost cut his leg off. Well, and I see myself doing that. I absolutely. He's trying to weld this thing for the first time, and he cuts a guy in half. But meanwhile, he's got all this ammunition. He's got like impenetrable armor, and
got to use it carefully and
bit on the hand. I thought that was kind of like, really, the thing. One of the people bit him on the hand. Didn't see that one coming.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of cool.
So, what do you think they forged for Grogu? And because he had it like wrapped up in the towel, he didn't show what it was.
I think it's a necklace. I think it is because Grogu and what is his name? Mando.
Mando. Yeah.
Mando, whatever. They have their own clan. And he is Mando's foundling. So technically speaking, he is already on that path to becoming a Mandalorian.
So you can become a Mandalorian. It's not something you're born into.
Exactly. Now, Mando was found. He was a victim of an attack on a planet. And they came in and he's not. And that's what I'm thinking the whole world was, it's not like a race. Right. It is you follow the creed. Right. You follow the creed of what it is to be, and you don't need superpowers. You just need to have a level of honor and integrity. These are things that are obtainable by anybody. Yeah, and that's the problem with being a Jedi.
The Jedi, yeah.
Think about it. What's a Jedi? They're absolutely useless. They have done nothing for the Star Wars universe other than oh, why is it that there's always two Sith, but there's a bunch, and I'm not going to use the S word, but there's a bunch of Jedi, and what do? They're not even running any politics, or they're kind of behind the scenes. They're useless. They have nothing to do with any economical. But what are they doing? They have this power, and what did they do good for the world? Any of the
I think they like fly around to other planets and like
that's why we need to know and go back to the Old Republic in the new movies, because they're going to go back and do a whole new trilogy of what's going on, what the Jedi even meant.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. There's no future. I understand that the Star Wars universe is immense, and that's why Disney bought it. But the problem is that they were too slow. Lucas was too slow to get rid of it, and the stories were developed in books, and there's a whole generation of Star Wars fans that grew up on those books,
right?
And they despise Disney. They cannot stand where it's going, because here their universe is now called, I believe it's called Legends. That
so the whole thing that their entire story
books, all those books are just like off the side. They're called Legends, and they will bring some back. But there's some very good stories, but now you have a diverging universe, and like I said, because of what they did with the last movie, and that what the heck was that? Talk about that last movie.
It looked really cool, but it was a stupid ending. It was a stupid.
Yeah, it's just kind of a repeat of where we've already been there, done that. Bought the T-shirt.
But it looked cool. They tried to tie it together. Disney screwed up a trilogy story sequel. They did, but
it ended. Now where? So what are you gonna do? You're gonna repeat the Empire? You're gonna repeat now that you have a repeat of the Rebels. They already repeated.
What they're gonna do.
A whole bunch of kids. All right, where are they going with this? It's the same old story. So that's why they're going backwards and but they're also biding time. There's a lot of money to be made on these backstories.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But that's fine. Explore that, and there's a lot of interest. As long as they do a better job than on the Book of Boba Fett.
See, I like the Book of Boba Fett. I didn't think it was going to. After the first episode, I watched the first episode. I wasn't really impressed, and then watched the second and third and fourth, and I started to kind of like it more. I like that they tied in with the Tusken Raiders, kind of the tradition of the staff.
I agree. The Tusken Raiders, I think they did a lot of justice there. I thought that it's kind of dumb that they're having people. Let me remove my arm just to put a cyborg component on there, rather than I hurt myself, I'm damaged, and so it's like they're making it cool to deform yourself. Now you took a perfectly normal eye, and then you're going to put this big ass block of metal on your face, and you think that's cool, And I was like,
the mods that in the last
So I don't agree with
how they're a tattoo parlor or something. They're making it like
it was a tattoo. If they would have made glow in the dark tattoos, cool, that would have been all right. But doing mods, I don't think it speaks well for what's going on.
Yeah, the Book of Boba Fett is not for kids. All right, the whole story is about this guy that comes in and he's bullying the town to try and get. Now he brings peace. Okay, now the thing. So
you're saying it's more for the adults than it is like the kids, but
yeah.
I thought it was cool how they tied in the escape from the Sarlacc pit. That was cool. I think that was the first episode. They showed him kind of like in the Sarlacc pit. And
I thought it was funny when he went back and blew it up.
Yeah.
With a sound grenade of all things. That was pretty awesome.
An ion grenade. Yeah, an ion grenade.
That was pretty neat. Another thing, though, I thought when this last episode where they brought in, he needed a new ship.
Oh yeah, that was
okay. So the lady, and she's some famous lady, right, with the fuzzy hair and stuff like that. Right?
She's not really that famous now, but she is now. So.
But she dated
a Jawa.
A Jawa. That is different. So now I give credit that
she's crazy.
Now they're having interspecies relationship.
I know. No, she's a funny, crazy lady.
I know she's funny and crazy, but there again, I thought, but that had never been touched on before.
Right.
So there again, so I get, okay, how do you go to bathroom on a spaceship? Interspecies relationships, and the thing was, she just said that they're very hairy. Okay, so they answered the question of what's a Jawa like.
Yeah.
Okay, they're very hairy.
Always wonder what's beneath that hood, other than the
again. So the question is, it's not 160 degrees on that planet. I think the nights get very, very cold, and the day can get really hot. But average temperature is probably 68 degrees.
I would say that's accurate.
What do you think about at the end when he started out on his ship and he first took off in his Naboo ship and he's flying around and they did an homage to the first episode 1 and it was this is like watching episode 1 in HD, and then he's now I'm gonna take it off into space, and then the cops that are rebel guys pull up to him and he's like
a bunch of useless guys. Okay, where'd they come from?
Hey, they're
all adult, right? It's what are they gonna do? Arrest you? It's
that was cool. I liked that. I really enjoyed that Naboo fighter.
I like how he left them in the dust.
He's what just happened?
And that's the guy that saved him when he was on the planet with the spider.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Kind of came in, and so there's a lot. He's like, you sound familiar, and there's some. So I like how the rebels, and they're not rebels anymore. I don't even know. Which brings to mind the other thing that I did not like about it is that, see, what they're doing is they're taking all the positive and kind of giving it the darker side, and then there's all the darker side, and they're giving a lighter side. How the rebels on the planet, when he was coming through, and they had all of the stormtroopers' heads on pikes. There's a scene, and I was like, okay, so here's that is something very barbaric. Is to put your enemies' heads on pikes.
They've done that a couple times, and that's like a scene in Tatooine with those. But
it's the rebels are actually doing this, so it wasn't the natives of the planet. So I thought that there again.
That's almost on a gate, though. That's on a gate that kind of separates and lets you know where you're at, because I'm pretty sure I've seen those on a stake. Was it not?
Still kind of a bad thing. I'm not really sure in that. I'm not, like I said, it gave an anonymous. Is that the word I'm looking for?
I don't know. Can we take a quick timeout? Miley's going crazy downstairs. I'll cut this little section out, but just give me 1 second to see what's going on. So we left off at
heads on pikes.
Oh, that's right. The heads on the pikes. Yeah.
Which I thought was funny that Mondo or whatever had to give up his really cool spear.
Yeah.
Why?
I was disappointed.
Why?
Because
it won't fit in this new spaceship.
It won't?
It won't. No. If you look
you're right.
And he has that thing sticking out the back, how's he going to be in this space? I'm like, he only has room for Grogu in the bubble on the back.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So so you're thinking the next episodes, he's going to go rescue Grogu from Luke Skywalker. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's going to give him a necklace. The necklace is going to have their symbol of their clan for Mandalorian, because they have, if you remember back in the armor said, okay. And they did something, but he has his own emblem now.
Okay.
And him and Grogu are a clan.
It's Grogu, Dad.
Or Grogu. Grogu. The green little baby Yoda, man. Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
No. Grogu sounds cool, but no.
Grogu. I think of Goku from Dragon Ball Z.
It's Grogu.
That's funny.
Grogu.
So, do you think they're going to tie the Mandalorian and the Boba Fett, that merger? Do you think they're going to wrap those up?
Yeah.
Or keep them separate, or wrap them up and then release the Kenobi?
What I think is going to happen is they're going to wrap up Boba Fett, because it's just the book of, but I think it's going to be the story of Mandalorian, because Boba Fett's Mandalorian and Mando has the dark sword. Okay, so that means he's the boss. If you think about it, he is, quote, the legitimate ruler.
people wanted to see Boba Fett, and Boba Fett was there because he was the original Mandalorian. So they brought him back and let him do his thing,
So they took a cool character,
and he sat around and had people tell him what to do the whole show, like everything. He's like, okay, I need to sit down. Like
he's the boss of the town. Do you think Mandalorian's though the real ruler, or did you say
Mando is?
Is he?
He's got the sword, so he has
right.
claim. He's got claim. He has claim to be the ruler. And it has been foretold that the armor went through the legend that now there has to be a mythosaurus, some kind of dragon thing, which I thought was kind of funny that they actually had a dragon on Tatooine or whatever. And
I remember that.
Yeah,
that was the dragon that you saw in the cave, though. It was the same type of. It's a crate dragon.
It's still a dragon. Dragon's a dragon in my
opinion. But anyway, but there has to be. But the only way he can get, now that he disgraced himself, according to taking his helmet off. So he's got to go back to Mandalorian. Which the thing is, ultimately destroyed, but I bet you him and Grogu are going to find.
He's going to go in.
Not only are they going to find the water that he can find whatever salvation in, I bet you they find a dragon.
So they probably do.
So he's going to go.
I bet you that's the only way.
Yeah, maybe that'd be a good idea.
I'm going with dragon egg, and Grogu is, like I said, and Mando, and like I said, I see this being a whole new.
It's not all about Luke wandering around.
I think it's cool.
Or the Skywalkers.
Yeah, I think Boba Fett's cool, Mando's cool, but honestly, I'm more excited to see Obi-Wan Kenobi and Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen come back together. I think is going to be an awesome. Yeah. I think it's going to be groundbreaking.
After watching that last episode of Mandalorian, I went back and I watched episode 1 on HD with the whole thing, and I was like, I forgot that this is a whole new area that they can explore. And then they go on with Obi-Wan and using those things, like to have Ewan McGregor, like he's like the biggest profile actor that they can bring to the show since, I don't know, when they did the original, like Mark Hamill and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like what's on the TV show of Star Wars? Okay. What are some big
He's a legend.
Yeah. It's like, we're bringing back Ewan McGregor. He's on here. I mean, that's like saying, and Sam Jackson, we're going to make a Star Wars movie show, because I think that's where we're at. We're at that level of a television show where it's like Star Wars is on television and it's good. They can make crap if they want to fill in, but they're also making these scenes. Like the last episode could easily have been on the big screen. It was an hour-long masterpiece.
Right.
So they're working on things like that. Now when it comes to Obi-Wan's story, they're going to give us episode 3.5 where Obi-Wan's going out in the desert. But what I don't want to necessarily see is the same thing that they did with Boba Fett, because they tried to do that. It's like, I'm in the desert, what do I do, and everything. Obi-Wan's going to have his own stuff to deal with while he's looking over Luke. He's going to be making sure that Sith aren't coming over, that Darth Vader, he's going to be checking, making sure Luke's okay. But in the meantime, you're going to have Darth Maul, who is around. That's a fact. He's still alive. Darth Maul might make an appearance, and there's a story where he kills Darth Maul. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with
practicing. He's going to be practicing too, because at the end of episode 3, Yoda left him with the task of learning how to communicate with Force ghosts and stuff like that, right?
Obi-Wan's got to figure out how to talk to Qui-Gon Jinn, because apparently, he's going to learn how to be a Force ghost himself. So
that'll be interesting to see if they tie that in. That'll be cool.
Yep.
I love it. I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be an interesting show, but I don't know. What I don't want them to do, the only thing I don't want them to do, because they're going to have Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader, is there's no reason for them to meet up.
I agree.
There's no reason for them to get together and then fight again. Maybe in a dream that he has, or he's having flashback visions or something, or like a scary, and then all of a sudden there's Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, because they don't see each other again until A New Hope.
Because they don't see each other.
He knows who he is. I mean, there again, his number one. I don't even know what his number one.
Ahsoka knows Darth Vader is Anakin. Ahsoka knows Darth Vader's Anakin during that whole time period. So that's someone.
Ahsoka, that was Anakin's Padawan, actually.
She knows that, and the one who had the lightsaber in Mandalorian season 2, and got the whole season where they got the bar, she knows that Darth Vader is Anakin.
So
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, Ahsoka's actually pretty cool. I'll be excited to see if they do a show on that. She's the Twi'lek. She was like Anakin's. It was in the Clone Wars, I think, mostly like the cartoon that she was his Padawan as he was not quite a Jedi master, but
like up there on top 10 most powerful Jedi.
Something like that. Yeah.
So like because
when
when Luke is out there, he's like, "Am I the only Jedi?" No, Ahsoka's still out there. Have they met yet? Nope. But
I think she battles Darth Vader at some point too.
That's how she finds out. Because when Darth Vader is the first time they encounter, it's like she's doing something. I don't know the whole story because I didn't watch all of the shows or those things, but little clips here and there. Ahsoka, she wants to know what happened.
There's very little future going on. They have, like I said, there's way too much money to be made. And it's about money on these backstories. I don't see any creative. And like I said, Mandalorian, I think was is really truly the most creative story out of all the movies.
Nah, it's just the most recent hype.
Yeah,
I liked Rogue One. I thought that Rogue One was a really good movie. Out of all of them, I think that was the best one.
100%, dude. 100%.
Versus the Han Solo movie, which here you're going to backstory, and you're discussing robots trying to rebel and find freedom now. Which there again, everything in Star Wars is about slavery, for the most part, and the robots were trying to find freedom, and turns out she's now the navigation thing for the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but that's how she died, was trying to raise all the other robots up on that planet.
Lando Calrissian and his relationship with the robot.
So it's kind of different, but no. So like I said, I think Rogue One was definitely, they took a lot of creativity licensing, changed it from the books. So they lost a lot of fans there, but yeah, like I said, I think Mandalorian is truly some new stuff that they can definitely expand upon and give all the Star Wars a whole new direction. Because there again, well, what else are we going to learn about Jedi now that they've kind of blown up the whole Force thing to where I can now teleport my image across the universe, and have a fight.
Right, that was pretty crazy.
I'm like, really? And then I love their battle scene where the two starships are fighting, and it's far enough away where their missile, remember their shot kind of like dissipates. So you have, here's the scene, right? Throw a potato gun out there. At least a potato gun will catch up to it and hit the ship, versus their stuff's like pink. The energy, it dissipates over time. So that was kind of dumb. That a Star Wars guy can just reach out, Jedi can reach out and crush your heart across the universe.
I still like the new trilogy. I think that it's all good. I have no reason to complain about Star Wars at all. It's like I don't think there's anything that's bad. It's like, why did they do that? I don't get angry at Star Wars. I know people do, but I don't. I think mostly if something's there, it's funny. Like if something comes up that's like, oh, okay, well, why would they do that? Well, whatever, move on. But it's like, why is that? Like what they do with Star Wars is fun.
Well, like I was talking about on my last show that I did with Star Wars, we were talking about how it's interesting how, each generation has like their era that they relate to most as when they were kids, so the younger generation under me, they're relating to the newer Disney ones more than like the older ones that you grew up with versus like the prequels. I love the prequels. I think, 2 sucks. 3 though, episode 3, I think is like one of the greatest Star Wars movies of all of them. And that's probably just because the age I was and how I related with the lightsaber battles and the emotion that was put into that movie. I think kids, younger kids, 9, 10 years, 11 years old that grew up with the Disney ones feel that same energy and excitement from Star Wars, that we do from.
Just like Luke trying to find.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think the fact that the CGI, when they did the first trilogy, they could not make episode 1. There was no, It was not
The
possible to
scene,
make
the
it.
scene with the Gungans and the robots.
Yeah,
That
right. You couldn't do that. Well, you know, a little puppet maybe. But
Right.
I really think that once the technology allowed him to make those scenes, that was great. I'm okay with some of the silliness that they did. That was fine. If you think of the last trilogy, it was mind blowing on the amount of CGI that they incorporated.
Right.
Like I said, there was like that Sith world right at the end there where it's like the whole mountain. They walk underneath a floating mountain.
Right.
And I'm like, that's pretty
Oh,
cool.
And a lot of that I think too is like nerds and geeks and stuff that are showing off what they can do with, you know, cinematic
but,
wise, you know.
I mean, but here, what's her name? What was the girl?
Ray.
Ray. She is amazing. I give her so much credit for becoming a master Jedi in
like 2 months?
Month and a half?
Year tops.
Yeah, year tops. I mean,
she is Emperor Palpatine's granddaughter though too, so there is that.
Yeah, so what did Luke do?
Luke,
okay, how about this?
Darth Vader's son.
Okay, how about this?
Mind you, was a mind-blowing experience. You didn't need any CGI on that one. Luke, I'm your father. Okay, that was crazy. And the whole movie theater goes, what the heck was that? No way. And no one saw that coming. But everybody sees everything else coming.
You don't know how to use the Force your whole life, and then all of a sudden you realize what it means to use the Force, and it clicks. So, that's what the Force is. So,
but I thought that was kind of cool. Like I said, Ray, I didn't get the ending. They're gonna, and I know they're, you know, with what's her name? She passed away and stuff like that. She did do her amazing Mary Poppins scene where they blew up a bridge and she floated out in space. And yeah, she used the Force to bring herself back into the ship. That was kind of like one of those
a little far out.
You can't deny that when you're watching these movies that you're having fun watching it for the first time. Like what happens in this world? They're trying to make things happen.
You got to have boundaries though, and that's what I think is important. That there needs to be. There's nothing. I saw the Force gives you godlike abilities at that point. I mean, she actually raised the dead. Right, Ben died. Right,
true. Yeah,
Ben died, and she brought him back to life.
She didn't bring him back to life. She became a part. Like she gave the rest of what was left of her life to heal his wound.
It starts getting, like you said, super complicated and like you know.
So, but I'm saying but hey, no, let's bring it in, guys. Let's bring it down. Let's get a little bit more real, okay? Because right now, I mean. It's not the Matrix.
Anything is possible.
The reality is there's no such thing as Star Wars magic. Sorry.
Yeah, but I think it was kind of, like I said, I love the story. There again, I saw it on a summer's day back when the first one came out, and it was like, so what are we gonna do today? And it's like, let's go to a movie. And you literally would look in the paper and what's ready or what's there to see. There's 3 movies, folks. 3 movies. And Star Wars. Let's go to that one. And we went that, and everybody that came out of that movie theater was like, what did we just see? Oh my gosh. And they went right back in. I mean, literally, it was like, that was awesome. Let's go see it again immediately. Okay. And the thing was, we didn't have cell phones back then. And basically, you had to steal money out of the fountain to get quarters for the video games and the phone. So it just like, so we send someone out, we go back in the movie, right? And it was like, okay, mom's gonna be here at such and such a time. Dude, you were in charge. You got to go run out and tell her to come back. Okay, so and that's what we did. Our ride on the first day was, you go tell them. We missed the first show. We're gonna go see.
Dad, are you admitting to stealing coins out of the fountain to play video games at the movie theater?
Oh, that's a good one, Dad.
Yeah, don't be like that at times. Now this gets back to I can admit that I had walked through every fountain that was in the Mill Creek Mall at the time. It was a hot summer day. We're like, why not? Let's be different. So literally, we walk through them. And then there was I was on a hot streak and I ran out of quarters. So yes, I think everyone at some point in time did.
That's too funny. Awesome. Well, I didn't have many notes for this. This was a great discussion though on Star Wars stuff. I love it. Yeah. I'm looking forward. I think there's still episodes being dropped on Wednesdays, right?
Yeah, there's 2 more left.
All right. Are they?
It's not over yet.
Are they just releasing the Book of Boba Fett ones though? Right? There's no new Mando.
It's not a constant stream, but they call it. It's essentially that. Yeah, that's.
There's no like.
I think the third Mandalorian is going to pick up at that point.
As far as I'm concerned, it's already Mandalorian again.
Right. What I know, he's got to come back. So, and I don't know how they're going to tie that Boba Fett needs muscle.
Right. There's going to be a war.
There's going to be a war, and I think what's going to happen is either Amanda's going to leave, come back with either Grogu, or he's just going to do it. And I don't understand what he's going to do to help.
Before Boba Fett has a fight with Mando is going to go see Grogu. That's what he said at the end of the episode. He's like, I got to go pay a visit to an old friend, just like Luke said about Yoda.
Well, at some point,
at the start or at some point next episode, you're going to see Grogu. And then he's either going to leave him, which he probably will, and then he's going to come back. Because you can't, think about it, you can't.
I don't see the story going. I think it's going to pick up when the Mandalorian series. So it's going back to Boba Fett, I think. Mm-hmm. And he's going to, because they need more muscle. He's just a Mandalorian, and he's pretty useless when it comes to using this dark saber. He hurt himself, so I'd say he's not much muscle.
You see how good Boba Fett fought the Wookiee?
Oh yeah, that
Boba Fett
Wookiee
is like, he got thrown around like 4 or 5 times by a Wookiee and survived.
Yeah, he ran back to tank. You know?
Which I thought the whole Wookiee thing.
The Wookiee was funny.
Yeah,
but the thing is, there's that lizard thing. What's the thing? He's like, oh, you should let him go. He's like, you can do some.
I did rip his arm off anyway. Vader. I thought that was kind of funny. But I don't know. I'm not really sure. My thoughts with the Wookiee, they're kind of up on the fence on that one.
Yeah.
I know that Wookiee's Royce.
I bet the Wookiee will come back and fight with him because he's already
there. He's already on Boba Fett's payroll.
Yeah,
he's now
gave him a job.
He's part of, so but he need a lot more. Where are they going to pull up this army?
Maybe he's going to go back to the clones because Boba Fett is a clone.
Yeah, he's going to have some clones. He's like, I'm going to put a thing out there on Craigslist. Any clone wars.
He knows about the clones. Maybe he'll muster up, get some clones made.
The thing is, why are all of these waterbound fish people coming to a desert planet?
Spice.
They're running the spice.
They are in charge of the spice.
Yep.
Which is a really cool word, by the way.
I think it's funny that the fish are invading a dry planet. It's like we don't need we need.
But it used to have water. Technically speaking, they technically could have been there because it used to have oceans.
Yeah.
And then, poof. Yeah. The Sarlacc along, drank it all up.
Yeah.
Must have been.
They're the drain. Okay.
It'll be interesting.
But yeah, they need another monster. They have to introduce one monster every episode.
Every other. Well, yeah. And then they do the droids.
Every episode they bring in something.
There's a new droid too.
Hey, what do you think of the droid? What the hell? What do they call them? They're it's a something. Starts with a C.
I know they make a new droid every episode too.
The one that you're talking about is a servant to Boba Fett, or?
Yeah, he's He's an interpreter too.
I think he's funny.
There's a word. I don't like his face.
It's a good.
There's something that I don't think there's something about his face that I
What did you think? What did you think about Boba Fett going into Jabba the Hutt's palace or whatever and seeing the cooks, and then the guy's like, "Oh, we gotta get you. We're really powerful." And the
cooks, swords. The droids that were cooks.
He pulls out.
There again, they're showing food. They're bringing in the kitchen. Here's the kitchen.
It's like, whatever. Just gonna turn you off. I don't care about your knives.
That's funny. That was
Yeah.
a cool scene. A
So
lot of cool
it's-
scenes. And
yeah.
stuff.
And then
It's actually, yeah, if you think about it, so you have a robot committing suicide.
you know who I am. I'm Boba Fett. And he's just like, turn the power off.
They committed suicide rather than getting caught.
Oh, that's not the first time though. Remember in the other episode of Boba Fett when he's on the train and he gets up to the front and he sees Boba Fett, he's like, run the train. He's like,
Oh yeah,
I'm
the
outta
train,
here.
the
Forget
train,
it.
the
He
train
just
guy.
jumps
Comes out. Yeah, he did not shut his power off though.
yeah, but still, that's like the droid is that he has that much free will. He's like, I don't need to be dealing with this crap. I'm out of here.
Yeah, interesting. Sweet. Well, that was a good discussion, I think, on Star Wars, guys. That was fun.
Yep.
That was cool. It'll be cool to watch and see. I know another one's coming out Wednesday. I had the schedule pulled up for episode releases, but sweet.
All right. Well,
Cool.
Yeah, that's all I got. May the force be with you.
Yeah, may the force be
yeah,
with
me too.
everyone.
So now this one you need to do roll the credits.
Yeah, roll the credits.